Welcome back, everyone. I'm Quentin Figueroa.
And I'm Jesse Gonzalez.
And we are here with Illy University to give you the second lesson to our web design series.
This is the instructor, and I'm the student.
And this lesson, we're going to be covering the basics of HTML, and we're going to briefly talk about CSS and kind of jump into that a little bit.
So I'm here to learn, he's here to teach, and I do want to apologize to the audience out there for my lesson last week. I was kind of out of it, but I'm back to normal, so we're going to start learning, and he's going to start teaching.
So with that, let's jump right in, everyone.
Hopefully you'll enjoy this lesson. From what I've read so far, it's pretty interesting. So let's get to learning, people.
Here we go. Welcome back, everyone. Today we are going to be covering HTML and CSS on how to build a website. So let's get started and jump right into it.
Okay, I'm ready.
And do you have any questions from last week?
Yes, I'm still going over it. So, but I'm doing pretty good. I think pretty soon I'll be able to do all those steps without having to look at the little program you made. But let's get started.
Okay. So you'll remember from last week that we logged in with FTP to demo.illyuniversity. So I'm actually going to redo that again so I can log back in. Demo, and password was set as password, and then this time through I'm going to save it so that in the future I can just click here and log right in to the FTP. And I did this wrong. So.
And then once again, this is just a demo, correct? People cannot actually go in there and use this?
That is correct.
Okay. Just making sure.
Well, no, actually, no. Somebody had this password they could go in and mess with.
Well, then you would want to change that, right? Because then people are going to be messing with your files.
I hope they do.
Well.
Okay, but for some reason, I was unable to log in. That's kind of weird. So right off the bat, we're having technical difficulties. Oh, wait, there we are. Okay.
Please stand by.
Okay, we're in.
We're in.
Okay, so if you remember, we have this. Let me go in here and delete some stuff. So we'll be working through here again. We got the index.html logo.ping. So if we go demo.illyuniversity.com/logo.ping, you remember our lovely logo that we stole from the internet and put up here? And then,
I do remember.
And then we also have the index page,
which is not found at the moment.
It's .html. So we have that page, which you'll notice you can access it from directly going to index.html, or you can just go to this without having that, and it'll still show you index.html. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. And to our left-hand corner, we still have that Met live page, little name on the site.
Yeah. Okay, so what I'm going to show you this time now is I actually want to show you how to make the actual elements of a web page. For instance, when you create a website, you're usually going to have something along these lines. You'll have some type of header section that's usually kind of like this. You'll have a header, and then over here you might have a content area.
Okay, can you just go into detail what you're pressing?
Right now, I'm just I'm just doing this as like a whiteboard. I'm not showing you I'm not actually doing. I'm just showing you kind of so you understand what we're gonna be creating. But this isn't the actual creation.
That is understandable, but I still need to see the steps you're taking. You keep pressing buttons.
Okay, well, this is Photoshop.
Okay.
And all I'm doing is using this marquee tool right here, where you can create a selection, a rectangular selection, and I'm creating a selection here like this, and then I'm just filling this with color. So it's like if I were to come here and pick the bucket tool and come over here and click it like in MS Paint, boop, so like that. So I'm doing that, but all I'm doing is creating a layer and then I make like a footer. With that, I hold down Alt, and then I hit backspace, which is like filling it with that. It's just a shortcut key, and it uses this color.
Alt and backspace.
Yeah, I use that a lot, but we'll go through Photoshop later on. This is just to show you. But so what we're going to have, though, is you're going to have... So you're going to have a header. So this is where you're going to have probably, well, actually, okay. So in the header, you're going to have a logo probably somewhere here. Over here, you're going to want to have a navigation probably with links, which I'm sure you've seen on websites. Over here, you're going to have content. And then over here is going to be a sidebar where you're going to have blocks and things like that, you know, little bits of information.
Yeah, I'm familiar with all of this. It's in my website, peacebeblessed.com, which I use a lot.
Cool. And then in the footer, you're going to have like copyright information and things of this nature. So there you have it. That's kind of what we're going to be going through today, how to do the HTML to set up something along these lines. So that makes sense?
Cool. Yes, it does.
Okay, so I go into Firefox.
Let me interrupt you there. So then at this point with that, we're using Photoshop?
But we're not actually going to be using it right now. I'm just using it to illustrate what we're going to do. I'm just like whiteboarding in Photoshop. But I'm just going to do all HTML. No Photoshop right now.
Okay, boop, boop.
Okay, so back in Firefox, there's a cool website, jsbin.com. And what this does is it just shows you HTML, CSS, JavaScript, things like that. And you can type it, and then in real time, it'll give you the output. So...
I got it.
Yeah. So right now you can see here is just a basic starter HTML document.
Let me ask you, is this similar to like Notepad and other?
Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
So watch, just to kind of show you. So this, I'm going to come here and I'm just going to write, hello, Jesse. So, okay. Okay, so I just wrote HTML, and then you can see it's over here displaying what the web page would look like. So to show you that, I'll copy this. This is all HTML right here. And then you remember we have this file here, index.html. If I actually come in here and edit this, so now I'm going to delete this and replace it with the HTML that I have right now.
Okay.
Okay, and then I save it. I'll close it. I'll re-upload it. And then if I go to demo.illyuniversity,
you gotta go a little bit slower. Okay,
where did I lose you?
You lost me when you just copy paste and you're gonna go here and there.
Okay.
I need you to really explain to me what the steps you're taking.
Yeah.
To get
So I was here. This is HTML. This is the code. This is what is making this show right here.
Correct. I understand that,
Okay.
but
So now I want to put that on our server.
which is your link.
Demo.illyuniversity.
Correct.
So I took this code, I copied it, I went to our server, demo.illyuniversity, I pulled the index file over here onto our server.
And then you're just going to drag it.
Yeah.
Correct.
See, so then I came in here and I edited it, I pasted it in, I saved it. So now I have it on our computer, index.html, which by the way, you could view, I'm not sure if people are aware of this. So if I actually pull it up on if I were to just view it from locally from our computer, you'll see that it's showing that output. See how it's pulling it from here, which is just okay. So it's pulling it from our internal hard drive. You know.
Correct.
Okay, but now that I also took it and I put it over here, and then I go here, it's gonna show you the same thing.
Okay, cool. So it's the same thing. It's just in your files.
Yeah, now it's actually on our server rather than just on kind of here.
Well, yeah, what is here?
Here is their site that's kind of emulating a website.
Which is the site JSBin, right?
Yeah, it's mainly for people to kind of do this, to test different stuff and see it really quick what's going on.
And is this all going to your server, to your computer, or is this just a testing?
This is just online, a testing thing, and it's all just run online. It's actually not being saved or done anything unless I choose to do something with it.
Unless you choose to save it.
Yeah, this is just basically using a website.
Okay, cool.
Okay, So now, okay, so next one I want to show you is, now that we see kind of how this is working, I'm going to start actually showing you how to create elements here. So just to kind of give you an idea, we talked about last time, there's a few basic HTML tags. I'm just gonna kind of go through those and kind of.
Okay, so then you're talking about elements at this point. Can you just give me a brief explanation of what elements are?
Well, I'll tell you what HTML tags or.
Well, you use I mean, it's not a technical word, obviously, but you said we're gonna start creating elements. Okay. I want to be aware of your lingo so that I can better understand.
Yeah. I don't think elements is a technical term for that.
Whatever it is, just go ahead and explain it.
Okay, so here we got. So just to kind of show you. So say I were to have some text, like let's go. Okay, there's a site lipsum.com. This you can basically just grab text. You know, you can generate just kind of random text.
And by text, you mean like a paragraph and things like that, correct? Okay.
Yeah. So look, I just copied this 5 paragraphs. Okay, now say I wanted to have that on my web page. If I paste it in here,
okay.
Look, you see how it's all just clumped together? This is how it'll actually look here. If I do the HTML on this left side like this, the actual website looks like this.
Okay. Okay.
But you see how we want paragraphs, right? Even though here it shows paragraphs, it's not showing it here. So watch. There's a paragraph tag. So if I actually come in here and do that, P, and then I come over here and then I end it like this, now you'll see I have a paragraph right here.
It creates a paragraph, right?
Yeah, it gives it that spacing. So does that make sense right there?
Yeah, it does. So then that's what you call an element, correct?
That's an HTML tag.
Okay, so then it's a tag. What is the difference between a tag and an element?
There's no such thing as an element.
You said element earlier, so
I'm just using it as a term. That's like saying what is the word the. I use the word the, but it doesn't have anything to do with
okay, well, you said we're going to learn elements. I do apologize for getting technical with little things like this, but I'm the type of person that will learn only if you teach me correctly.
Okay, good. I'm teaching you correctly.
Thank you.
Okay, so here we're gonna paragraph all these. So here I'm actually going to take my hands off and let you make the last one a paragraph. So go ahead. Take the mouse, add a paragraph to the last one. Go ahead. I know the mouse is a little quick. Here, I'll get you there.
Can I use?
Okay, right here, and then add the tag. Yeah, go ahead for the paragraph. So right here. Go ahead. Yep, that's right. Okay, close. Perfect. Okay, and then you need to, yep. I got you there. Okay, go. Perfect. Okay, so
that's going to create a paragraph, correct?
Now let's say, for instance, in this second paragraph here, you want to make something bold, right?
Okay.
So watch. I'm going to teach you another tag. It's called strong. So I start where I want it to start. You'll see it's actually doing the whole rest of it. But if I end it here, now it just does that one little part.
Cool.
Right?
Yes.
So it's not called bold because bold it's kind of a semantics thing. Bold, they used to use bold like this, a bold tag, but it's not used as much anymore because they want to have it more not as only one function. Strong they want to have as a kind of universal thing where strong could mean a lot of different things. I guess I'll kind of explain that more later, but you could use a B tag, but strong's kind of the way to do it now. Just like also italics. Say I want to make something in italics. I wouldn't use I for italics. I'd use EM, which stands for emphasis. And then you'll see there that it actually italicized this word, the nulam. Yeah.
And then from what I'm getting out of this, like in this case, to bold something, you have to put the words in between in the center and then just press it and it becomes like,
Yeah.
bold, but you said it's not the correct word to use.
Right.
And then in italics, you do the same thing. You just have to put the words in the middle.
Yeah. So just know strong and EM you use a lot for bold and italics. These are kind of what you're going to use.
Cool. And then P, of course, is for.
Yeah. So now if I wanted to make another paragraph, for instance, watch. You can do tags within tags. So if I start a paragraph here and then I end it here, just this little part right here is going to be in a paragraph.
Correct. I think I get that.
Yeah. So now you can see that right here. I just created a new paragraph. But now say I want each sentence in here to be on its own. I want it to be a list. I want it to be on its own line. So watch. Let me show you this. So I would come in here. You can, just to make it more readable, I can come in here and kind of tweak it a little bit, something like this, so it's more readable. But here's what we're messing with right now is this area. So if I put each thing on its own line, so I'm just coming here to where I find each period and then putting it on its own line. But you can see it's still not showing it how it shows here, right?
Correct.
So you need to use what's called a list. This is another HTML thing. So the way a list works is it's called LI for list. So LI. So you see there how it lists it now? It gives it a bullet, and then it's like this. So now if I do this for everyone, I'm just going to copy this here, and then paste, paste, paste. And then here, I'm going to add a end one. So I did that kind of quick, but you see how I have each one with an LI, and then I end it, and then LI.
Okay, so you ended it, and what you're doing here is just, I guess, if you want to create bullet points in a paragraph or whatnot.
Yeah, because now, so say I want it to have numbers. That's what's called an ordered list. So it's OL is what it stands for. And then you've got to terminate it here, OL. So you see now how it says 1, 2, 3, 4?
That is cool.
Yeah. And then you can also do an unordered list, which is UL. And then that will just do, like we saw the bullets, and then it has it kind of indented. So that's something to note here too. When you do a list, you don't have to use a UL, but generally you should.
Okay, so then what is a UL? You kind of got me confused there.
Yeah, it's a little confusing. So see right now, I'm not using any UL. It's just list.
Correct.
See how here it's kind of...
It's just bullet points.
It's bullets and it's not indented. Watch, if I add the UL back, see how it indents it?
Okay, yeah, I understand that.
Kind of basically the UL creates a container.
So then the UL is going to be the one that you added the UL at the beginning and at the bottom, which is going to indent and give you bullet points.
Yes.
But if you wanted to add the numbers there, then you would have to
change it to OL.
OL, but can you do OL and UL at the same time?
You can, but it's going to do one or it's not going to do them both, I don't think.
Okay.
It'll probably do the most closest one. So if I do OL inside of it,
okay,
it's going to do OL. So, but you
okay.
can do it, but
so then OL takes over UL.
No, whichever one is the most recent. For instance,
okay.
If I put OL here,
the UL takes over.
Yeah.
Wow, that's good to know.
Yeah. So it's kind of orders things by kind of which one's closest in proximity.
In this training session, is there any possible way we can get a different mouse so that I can be able to, and not like when I'm doing my own little stuff and learning, it's easier than this freaking mouse that you have?
Well, maybe. I can slow this down if you need me to.
Okay, that would be very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, right now I just slowed it down. So see how I'm like...
That's...
Okay.
Cool. So then let me to go over this real quick. To highlight, well, not highlight, to bold. Okay, what is the code that you're going to use to bold again?
The code is strong.
So then it's going to be the strong code. Okay, and then...
And then for italics, it's called EM.
EM.
Stands for emphasis.
Correct.
Okay, so I want you to bold and italicize one. So I'm going to delete that, and I want you to create a list. So this whole paragraph right here, so I want you to, let's make it a little smaller. So these, put each one on its own line, each sentence, there's 3, and then make the first sentence, pick a word and make it bold, and then on the third sentence, pick one and make it emphasized. And I'll slow down the mouse. Okay, so here you go. So So what you're doing now is you're going over, and it looks like you added a comma. Oh, okay. And you're going to, there you go. Strong, correct. And then obviously over there on the right, you can see it's doing the full thing because it's not terminated. So you need to, yeah. Wait, oh, no. Okay, good. Well, no. No, you're still editing your first one. You need to, you see. But you got the idea. There you go. And then you need to go behind the word now. Yeah, there you go. After it. Okay. So arrow over to the right, behind the word. So keep going. Keep going. So there, and now you would, there, wherever. Yeah, and
I
there.
wanted to do this, let's say
Go wherever.
Okay, here.
There. Okay, so then you would,
Strong again.
yes, except with the slash. Because the slash denotes that it's being ended. So that's right, but go ahead.
Slash.
Well, no, but you do the slash before. That's for, yeah. So, well, you had it, you do the,
Sorry.
it's okay, it's a little tricky. But it's basically, if you look at the top of the document where it says title, it's just that same type of format with the word strong. Yeah. And that's how most HTML is. It's all pretty much the same with just a different word in between. So there it is. And then you can see that section is now bold. Okay, so now I want on the third sentence, I want you to make something emphasized. Or in italics.
Here?
Yep, that's the third one. Yep. So
then it's going to be...
So.
Hold on.
Yeah, it's okay.
I just hate this keyboard.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. That's, yep. Yeah. And then you're going to want to choose a place for it to end.
So then I want to choose wherever. This is just an example.
There, that's a perfect spot. Good choice. Okay.
Okay, so then that's going to be...
Perfecto. Now, I want you to put each one of those on its own line in a list. Each sentence. You'll see there's 3 sentences. Okay. Kind of what I showed you with the lists.
Well, yeah, I get that.
So
then I'm going to go here.
Go ahead.
And then I'm going to go... And then IL or LI? IL?
Well, first, it'd be easier to put each sentence on its own line first. So before you even do that, just come over and put each one on its own line, if you know what I mean. So what you want to do is this one is going to be its own line.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then you want to separate.
Just to kind of organize it, this one's going to be its own line. And then you could actually remove these paragraph tags. So now see how we have each one on its own line? Okay, go from there.
Okay, so then it's going to be
LI for list? Yeah. Okay. And then you'll see you have the dot there showing that it's working.
And then I can enter at this point or have to go?
Well, and then at the end of the line, yeah, you're going to want to do the slash LI. Yeah. So here, there it is. Boom. Okay, and then that one's a list. Okay.
Well, hold on.
Either way, it doesn't matter. But then
How come you can't backspace?
You can, but it just had some extra. So now you want to do an... Yeah. LI. That's a list. Okay?
I did put it.
That's right. That's correct. And then, yeah.
I'm going to go there. I got it.
You get it now.
No, I didn't there, but I got it.
You almost had it.
There, slash.
Yep. Yeah. And it's always just going to take that format for pretty much all of them. So it's always the same thing.
And then I can enter or just go with
Yep.
my mouse.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then this one. Very good. Very, very good.
You have to delete that.
No, you don't.
No,
because that's...
It takes precedence. I got it.
Oh, but yeah, because that's inside it. So that you still want it italic. Yeah. So there, boom. Yep.
Okay.
And then you need to...
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. And then, now once you got this... Go ahead. Yeah. Okay. And then one other thing now. I want you to make this numbered 1, 2, and 3.
Okay, so then it's going to take and so it's gonna be
Okay.
what was it? Numbers O. Is numbers O?
Oh, yeah, for ordered. Yep, OL. Speaking of presidents, which one is your favorite president?
I am Mexican. Be quiet.
Okay. So there's that. So now it's numbered, but you see that third paragraph is still indented because it goes with the indent of the numbers because it's not terminated. So you
Correct.
just, So,
So
you know what you need to do.
Yeah, so then at this point it's indented.
Well,
and then you said
add the /end OL. You need to terminate the OL because you see it every time you kind of start with an HTML, you kind of got to have the ending one. So at the end, yeah. So then what you'll notice when you do that, that third paragraph is going to go back to the side once this is done.
This one goes slash.
Yeah. So then once this is done, you'll see that third paragraph snap back because it knows that that's the end and it's back to normal. Yeah, you're good. So then you did it. Okay, let's move on.
Okay, little example. Sorry, guys. I am not used to this keyboard or this mouse.
Okay, so now what we have right here, though, so we're going to copy that just to show you. We could put it back on our server. So I'm going to edit this file. This is our index file. I have the new updated code. I close it. I transfer it back over onto the server. And we come over here. We demo it. And voila. Now we're seeing it. And you'll see it. It will.
Would it be you just copied and pasted, right? That's basically what you did?
Yeah, that's all I did.
Okay, cool.
So, and you see we have it now on our server.
So then if you have an open window, like let's say you have 3 open windows, why wouldn't it be just easier to copy and paste? Because you went through different steps where I think it would be easier for people to understand, that there's like different ways of doing it, which would be a little bit much easier.
In order for it to show up here, it needs to be on our server. So I have to go to our server and this file is going to need to be changed.
Yeah, well, you just dragged it, but can you also just copy and paste to that file? I mean, it would be the same difference, right?
Well, that's what I did though, because I edited it and then I copied and pasted pretty much.
Well, when you're doing that, can you be a little bit slower just so that people who are watching can kind of grasp it a little bit more?
Okay, yeah. But so basic concept usually is going to be you edit the file on your machine.
Correct.
And then once you edit it, you send it back over to the server, and then now it's got the fresh.
Which you dragged.
Dragged. And there's other ways. These arrows, I believe, sometimes.
Okay. Well, at this point, they're not really working.
No, I don't use this program much.
Okay. Cool.
I do. Okay, but yeah, you drag usually. So anyway, back to here. So now I want to show you just some other stuff. So let's say this is called my story, and here it's gonna say my story. So what I just did here was what's called an H1 tag. They're usually used only once per document. It's usually the main title for that document. So if you actually go to, let's say, CNN, I like CNN as an example, I believe. So you have documents. So this document, the protester who would be president. This main title, the protester who would be president, is most likely in H1, Vermin Supreme. So you can actually check that. I'm just going to view the source code real quick just to show you. So if I type H1, you'll see it's exactly that. They have it in an H1 tag because that's the title.
That's very interesting. So then that's only used when you want to put the main title on the article, correct?
Yeah, pretty much. So.
Cool. And so then let me just ask you real quick. At that point, can you go back to CNN?
Yeah.
Okay, so then it would be at the beginning and at the end of the title, correct?
Yep.
Which would put it in the middle, which would create that title.
You're correct.
And, not in bold, because you do not use the word bald or whatever.
Yeah, and you'll see I copied this from their site, and you'll see it's exactly what you said. It's in between.
Correct. Cool.
Okay. So now we have our title. Sometimes too, you might want to say, so see how we have this list here?
Okay.
So it goes H1 to H6 each time. Each number, as the number increases, it's like a subsection. So.
Okay, so then where would you want to use that, like H1 to H6?
So
just to break down.
See how the H2 now, I say check out my list.
Okay,
so it's kind of like as something.
Okay, so then let me go into this real fast. So then for the first paragraph, you would say that has a title, then you would use H1. You go into the next one where it says check out my list, you're using H2, and it's going to create the second title, and so on and so forth, correct? H3, if you did an H3, it would list another title and so forth, correct?
That's correct.
All right, cool.
And that's what we're going to do. So if I were to copy this now, this whole chunk of text, and create another one. So now I just see how we have more content. Let's say here now, right in this area, I have a H3. So H3 here is my section, and I do that, and then you see now how it has it here?
Yes, that's pretty cool.
So, and then it goes on and on. So that's kind of how you organize. That's just to kind of show you basic HTML markup.
These things, believe it or not, kind of excite me because I'm excited to learn about this stuff.
And I'll show you something that'll really get you going now. So So let's find an image here. Okay, see this image?
Correct.
Every image on the internet has an image location. It's actually being pulled from this area. So this is the actual direct.
So then you want to copy image, which I understood, and then you did something up there.
Okay, yeah, sorry, I was quick. Thank you. So this image is basically it's a static image. It's an image on their server that's being embedded into an HTML site.
Okay, cool.
So this image, if you right click on it, you'll see you could, if you want to save the image, that kind of thing, view the image. So it has an image location. I say copy image location.
And then it's going to put it on the...
and then that gives me the actual
address,
direct address. And you can see it's on their content delivery network.
So then from there, can you copy it?
Yes. Depends how their servers are configured. Sometimes you can actually display somebody's image on your website even though it's on their server, which I think CNN probably will, especially because it's on a static. So we'll try it. So watch this. So I'm going to try to get this now into our document.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so to do an image, it's an image tag. So let's say I want this image. We're going to put it actually at the top right now, and we're going to center it. So it's going to be under this text but above this. So it would be this area right here, right? So it's called the image tag. So and it looks like this. That's how this one is going to look.
Does it have to be a space?
Here, I'm not sure actually, but I do it. But okay, so this one, you'll notice it's not like this. You don't do an image like this. Okay. This is how you do most HTML, but this one you don't because it's just like a one-time thing. So it's more like that, if that makes sense.
It's sending it, in other words. That's it. Yeah. That's all you're going to do with that image.
Yeah, but then like we talked about last time, you need to tell it what image, where it's located. Okay, and that's called the source.
The source, which is going to be...
src equals, and then you put it in quotes like this. So src is source equals, and then you remember that source we pulled?
Correct.
Which is this direct address.
Correct.
So if you come over here, you take that, copy it, and you paste it in, and then look, boom.
Wow, that's interesting. That's actually like very, very, it's very self-explanatory. Well, not self-explanatory, but it's not hard at all to do.
No, it's not. It's not hard. Now watch. So there's other stuff you can do. Actually, we'll get into more later, kind of how to make it look different, put it on the other side, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which obviously you'd want to know. But one other thing is I want you to add now an image. So see here where it says, here is my section.
Correct.
I want you to add an image right under here and right before here. Okay. And here, pick another image from, I guess, yeah, from here. Like, let's say this image. I want you to add that image now. So then show me how. Yep. So, and then why are you getting the image location?
I'm getting the image location because I want to put it in the link address, address.
Okay, go ahead.
Right?
Yeah. So now you have it copied to your clipboard pretty much. So you actually can go straight back, to the next one, the next tab, second one. Yeah, that one. Okay, and then
I'm gonna go to this.
I want it after here is my section. So in the HTML, that's the actual. That's not where you edit. That's the output. So it's gonna be on the other side. You know?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Can you move a little bit?
Okay, sorry. Okay, so it's going to look just like that one I did above. It's going to be the same thing, but just a different source.
Okay. Is there any way I can use, like...
What?
I just don't like this.
The arrows? Here, let me get you. So, okay. So it's going to be right here, and it's going to look like that one above it. So go ahead. You're all good to go.
Okay,
so right here, there you go. G, very good, very good. And then you'll notice on the right side right now, you're seeing a broken image. I'm sure you've seen that before on websites.
correct.
That means basically it's trying to pull an image, but it's not getting an image, so it's showing you that it's broken. It doesn't have a valid image. So here you go, src equals, very good.
And then I'm going to get the...
Yeah.
There. No,
Okay.
well,
And I believe you can use single quotes too, but either way.
well, I'm going to do it.
Mhm.
So then I'm going to come back for the image.
You already have it. You just need to paste it in. You have it on the clipboard if you remember. That's what happened when you right-clicked on it.
Yeah.
So if you just paste it, as you can see, there's a right-click paste. Okay, you pasted it though down there. Okay. So here, I'll just back Control Z it. So you just need to go here. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. So now we're gonna paste it in.
Did it again.
Okay.
Well, it's your mouse. That's why.
So let's pretend it got pasted in. Go on.
How come I couldn't paste it though? That's like I was doing the correct step.
I don't know.
Okay, so then I got it there. So then.
And you can see it still hasn't appeared yet. Still hasn't appeared. Well, although it might have actually, but let me scroll down a little. Okay, so it is there. Let's see at what point, because hold on. So it's still not there until you add make sure. Yeah. So as soon as you add this, that's when it actually is there, but it's still, obviously HTML still needs to be finished. Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, can you let me do it?
Yeah. Cool.
Enter, right?
Done. You don't have to, but yeah. Okay, good. Here you go.
Okay. So then there I added an image from CNN. So you just want to copy and paste the image and put it on the link address so that you can go ahead and have that picture. That's pretty interesting.
Okay, so I just uploaded that new code and everything to our server, and now I'm going to refresh this page. This is what we had before. I refresh it, and now you can see we have this one. We have pretty much what we've been working on. So now we kind of have a little bit of a website going. Yeah?
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
Okay. Now, I'm going to show you how to kind of manipulate things with CSS. So far, we've been working on HTML. The HTML is this stuff. It's all the stuff with the tags, the slashes, this kind of stuff. This is what marks up the content and the data and that kind of thing.
Let me ask you one more time. So to start off this, you would have gone to a website like jsbin, right, .com. Is there other websites you can go to, or is it
and the only
Notepad?
Yeah, the main reason I'm doing this, a lot of people, especially when they're starting, will build a website in a program called Dreamweaver or something similar. And that's pretty much like this, where you have two sides. You have your HTML, and then you have the output. I don't use Dreamweaver just because I don't use it. I don't have it. I just do it all in Notepad. So but if I was doing it in Notepad and not using this site, so say I wasn't using this site, the way I would do it is I would just be editing my file here. I'd edit it, and then I'd re-upload it here, and then I'd refresh this page and go, oh, okay, look at these are the new changes I've done.
But Notepad is something that a program like your computer provides you with, correct?
Yeah, Notepad comes on, I think, all Windows computers.
Correct.
And I use TextPad actually, but you can download it for free. There's a ton of free text programs. So
and then is it much easier to go into one of these websites so that you can actually practice? Is that the purpose?
That's exactly why. Yeah, because rather than me every time, like if I make a change right here, you don't see what I did.
Correct.
So rather than me having to re-upload it every time and then refresh my site, I'd rather just go here, make the change so you can see it immediately what just happened.
Then you can just save it to your website.
Exactly.
All right.
So that's what we're doing here. It's kind of just it's for demonstration purposes. It makes it easy, and it's going to be really cool with this next thing I'm going to show you.
Cool.
Okay. So now it's important though to understand this is HTML. The purpose of HTML is not to make things like to change colors, to make things look a certain way. It has very little to do with appearance. HTML is more about structure. It's about organizing data. It's not about, so it's like, say I want to make this red Vermin Supreme.
You can't do it.
You can, but you don't want to use HTML to do it. It's outdated. That's what people did like 10 years ago.
Okay. So then, yeah. So then basically you're saying this is something that you use just to input data, I guess you could
Correct.
say.
That's right. And that's good to know because a lot of people still don't get that. HTML is not about colors, not about fonts, not about it's about very structured, strict document like this. For instance, we're back on CNN. They're usually pretty good about HTML. I'm going to remove all their what's called CSS. I'm going to remove the stuff that does their colors and watch this. Watch. So disable styles. This is just a Firefox plugin, by the way. It's called Web Developer. It's kind of handy because you can do stuff like this, but watch. Disable all styles. So I just disabled it. This is their site. This is just pure HTML right now. So you see how now it looks kind of like what we were doing.
Correct.
See how it's all plain and boring?
And then so then you have to go in there and edit and make everything like more a little bit more sophisticated.
Right. But you see they build sites well because they know all they have is just their data, image, everything. There's no styles in their actual HTML.
Somebody probably goes in there and puts all that, right?
Correct. So we're going to show you that right now. So we come back over. Let's close these out. So that's what does the styles is what's called CSS. You see here this little thing. This site actually lets me edit the CSS now.
Cool.
So yeah, so I'm going to make these a little bit smaller, and I want to just show you some things. So the way CSS works.
Okay.
There's a few different ways. I'm going to show you just some basics. Most of these tags here. So this is H1. This is IMG. This is P.
Okay.
If you want to edit something with CSS, you just type the tag name directly like this. You don't need to put it like this.
Okay.
You
Cool.
put H1, and then you put it in curly brackets like that.
Cool.
Now watch this. So say Vermin Supreme, the protester, that. I want to make that red. I would type color, red. Boom.
Cool. That's pretty interesting.
Yep. Now,
Let me ask you something. Like you said, HTML was like so yesterday. So CSS is a little bit more updated. Is that
yeah? What I mean by that is because in the past with HTML, you could do. Let me try to think. You could do things in HTML like you could change colors and stuff. You could change fonts and stuff like that. But it's not good to because you want to keep your data and your styling completely separate. Yeah. You don't want to have the two grouped together.
Which is understandable, but from what I'm seeing right now, CSS is a little bit more simpler, correct?
CSS is and it's different. It is I guess a little more simpler, but you're using it to style things rather than but and the reason why you want to have your HTML and CSS separate is because let's say you're doing a mobile site, you could have a CSS for the mobile version and then you could have a CSS for the regular version. You have the same HTML for both sites, but one of them you use just a different styling for each one rather than having to have two. It's just way more organized and better. Okay, so that is. Okay, so I made that red. If you go into Photoshop, you can actually get, so I have this color picker here. So every color has this thing, I think it's a hexadecimal number or something. But any color that I choose here, you can use that in CSS. So say I come here and I pick a nice kind of this blue right here. You see this? I can copy this and then go over here. And rather than saying color red, I can you add the pound sign and then you paste that and now you see it's blue. That's exact blue color that I got out of Photoshop.
Okay, so then if let's say you just want to be more simple, you would have just gone with the blue color. But if you want to add like a color with more, I guess, a different appeal to that color.
Because look, if I just type blue, I get blue, but I want a light blue. How do I do that? Or I want,
you would get that number.
You're limited. And so most people aren't going to do it this way. Most people are going to actually know, I want specifically this color. And then they're going to get it.
Okay, cool.
And just a little bit on color theory, just to show you. Okay, when something, it basically works like this. Red is the first digit, green is the second digit, and then blue is the third digit. RGB. There's six,
Red,
so
green, blue.
3 digits. Red, green, blue. So watch. F0 is like none of it. F is all of it. So right now I have 0 on red, 0 on green, 0 on blue. If I want blue, full blue and nothing else, I type F, which is the highest number. So watch F. Now that's the most blue.
But how does it know that it's blue? Like, oh, because there was a third one. Correct.
Yeah,
Now I got
okay,
it.
so watch.
And F is a signal for blue then?
No, F is basically full. Like, it doesn't stand for full.
Okay.
F is the highest amount. It goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then after 9, it goes A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay. So it has whatever, that 15 or 16 different numbers, with F being the highest. So if I were to type 9, it's going to be a little bit darker because it's not full blue.
Okay, so then the first 0 would signify red.
So
the
watch.
second one would
Yeah,
be green.
so-
and then the third one would be blue. Let me see if I get it. So let's say on the first one, you put an F. It's going to go to the highest degree of red, correct?
There you have it.
Cool.
And then you want a little bit darker red, maybe a 9. A little bit darker, right? And then you got that. So now you want green. It's going to be really bright green.
Okay, so then how many numbers did you say it goes up to?
It's from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then A
B, C, D, E, F, G.
just to F.
Just to F. Okay, cool. That's interesting to know.
So that's 15.
All right, cool.
Okay, and then you got, so watch. So I have red. You can mix them, obviously. If I do red but then maybe half of green, I'll get orange. So...
That is cool.
But that stuff you don't need to. That's just kind of to kind of know what's going on. But I mean, at the end of the day, most of the time you'll just, if you want orange, you'll come here. You'll be like, okay, here's orange. But you can see it's very close to what I just did. It's kind of, I don't know if, but
it's understandable.
okay.
So then, how high can you go on those numbers, though? Like I see there, it has like letters and numbers.
Yeah, so that's what. But it's a little tricky because I simplified it with and it's probably not really worth going into. I simplified it with just 3, but it's the same as doing FF9900. It's the same thing, but you don't have to use all of them. You can just use 3.
Okay, so then, but how high can you go on those numbers? Not that it really would matter. I don't know if it
What do you
would.
mean, how high?
Okay, so you just put in 3, a letter, and 2 numbers there. So let's say I wanted to put 16 letters. Let's say I wanted
Just
to
6. 6 is the max.
6.
And most of the time you use 6. What I'm doing here is shorthand, because if you have it where they're the exact same numbers both times,
Okay.
like FF9900, you could just shorthand it with F90.
Oh, okay,
But
cool.
sometimes it'll be like FA9057, and that one, you can't shorthand it. So does that kind of make sense?
Okay, yeah, it makes a lot of
And
sense.
it goes in groups of 2. So this is the red FA, 90 is the green, 57 is the blue. So there you have it. That's kind of how that works. And
Because
then
it still continues going in groups. Like the first 2 would be red, the first 2
You
would
got
be
it.
green, and then the
got it.
next 3 would be blue.
that's right. So that's that. That's just some basics on colors.
Cool.
But the code for that was, as you saw, so you go with CSS, you go whatever kind of the thing is, color, which changes the color, and then you do colon, and then you're going to type whatever it is, and then you end it with a semicolon. So F00, there you have red. But there's more you can do with that. Watch this. So let's say I want it to make it orange, something like this, and then you can now, there's what's called background. You ready for this? I'm going to make the background black. So you see that's black.
Yeah, and that's just the background behind the
And then you can see I'm actually grouping.
wording.
I'm grouping 2 things of CSS here, color and background. And you can do multiples. Watch. There's another one called padding. So padding, watch this, 20 pixels. So now you see what it did?
No.
I'll make it more noticeable. Padding 50 pixels. You see that?
Yeah, it made the background bigger
Yeah, and what
on the wording, though.
it added padding in between the perimeter of the border and between the words. So, and then if I wanted to do what's called a margin, you can do margin 50 pixels, and that will do that. So you kind of see what's going on here.
Yeah, you're like just doing the main.
And then watch, you could do just say the top part. I want to pad the top only. See that?
Cool.
I want to pad the left. Padding left
So it will
50
make-
pixels.
Yeah.
Cool.
So you have a lot of control with CSS on how you want things to display.
Wow, that's very interesting.
So let me show you some more stuff. Let's move on to the image. So we'll delete that. Image is going to be accessed like this, img, because that's what the tag is. So img, now certain things aren't going to work. If I want to make the image red, it's not making the image red because it's an image and the color doesn't really, work on that part. But other things, for instance, padding will. If I do padding 50 pixels, you'll see the image just when you got that, right?
Correct.
Now, let's say a lot of times you want to add a border to an image. The way a border works is like so. Border, you say, let's say I want this to be 10 pixels, 10 px. I want it to be solid, and I want it to be red. So boom, there's a red border.
Cool.
Watch, I want it to be dashed. There's a dashed border. So that's kind of how that works. You can obviously make it like a light gray, so it'd be something like this. There's a little light gray border. You can add a little spacing between the border with padding. Padding 5 pixels. Boom, there's some spacing. So there's lots of different things.
Cool.
So, yeah, I mean, I could keep going on and on. I'm not quite sure how far we want to go, but
I guess we're going to be ending it soon because this is enough information for the day. It's Sunday morning that we're doing this class. So,
well, let's do a little bit more. No?
Okay.
Okay, no, we'll end it then.
Whatever you want to do, I just need my coffee right now.
Okay, well then, I guess we're going to end this one right here. Tomorrow, or next time. Yeah, next time.
Maybe we can do one tomorrow.
Okay, yeah. So what we'll do, though, next time we do this, because this has been a lot today. We did some good HTML stuff, which was very important, foundational. We did some just started tapping on the CSS, which is a whole can of worms in itself. So we'll next time explore this CSS a lot more, where I can show you how to manipulate this whole kind of document to look good. But one last thing real quick, which I just noticed. So you see how I added that image border to this? And I did it to the image tag. It's cool because it doesn't do it just for this one. It does it for all image tags on the document, which is really cool.
All of the ones
Everything. It's very cool. But we'll get into that next time. But that's kind of the basics of that. And we'll pick it up from there. So thank you everyone for checking this out, and go ahead, Jess.
Thank you for listening to us. I'm eventually, hopefully we'll get better for you guys. And last week was not my best week, so hopefully this time I learned more.
All right, cool. Thanks for sticking around, everyone, and we'll pick this up again soon. Thanks. Bye.